bad.
This is from Brett Siegel, who proposes the most likely trade scenario for the Kings to land Jonathan Kuminga. Here it is. Sacramento Kings received Jonathan Kuminga on a 4-year, $112 million contract with about $25 million a year, year one base compensation. The Golden State Warriors receive Devin Carter, Haywood Highsmith, a 2027 first-round pick, top 8 protected from the Kings. The Miami Heat receive Malik Monk and KJ Martin. The Utah Jazz receive Terry Rozier's expiring contract, a 2029 first-round pick swap from Miami, a 2027 second-round pick from Charlotte via Miami. So they get
I think that's from Sac. I think he messed that up.
Okay, from Sac. To have any chance of, then he writes, to have any chance of landing Kaminga now that they are hard capped at the first apron, the Kings will need to move off either Monk or DeMar DeRozan. Sacramento is about $7 million from the first apron right now with 15 players under contract. And their previous offer of Saric and Carter would only be $10.5 million in outgoing salary. Still, the big question is whether this is enough for the Warriors to accept the deal with the Kings. Carter isn't viewed as a first-round value right now, given his injury concerns. And while Haywood Highsmith is a decent player that Golden State has expressed interest in previously, their return is still much lower than what was expected. The other part of this is I always get, just in general, not with what Brett is saying, just in general, when I see 4 teams cooked up, and not like the trade, the Kevin Durant 10-team trade where they were just little things, not like that, but with a situation like this with legit big hitters. And even, yes, Kevin Durant was a big hitter, but all the other little nuanced moves of it outside of Kevin Durant and obviously what the Rockets got, that was a very weird specific situation. I just don't know how often 4-team trades like this actually happen.
Well, let's make it easy, right? Let's start with 2 and then figure out how we got there, right?
Okay, fair enough.
So essentially the Kings are adding Jonathan Kuminga and they would be sending out Malik Monk, Devin Carter, 2027 first-round pick, top 8 protected, and a second-round pick, right?
Yeah, and real quick, I feel like we're burying the lead here because of the moves that the Kings have made, which is so funny because they dumped Jonas Valanciunas' contract, but they're still stuck in this situation in part because of the money that they gave to Dennis Schroeder. They can't do, Brett is telling you right here, they cannot do, we keep on talking about, just take the deal and leave, just take the deal and leave. Malik Monk or DeMar DeRozan has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
They have to go somewhere. You can't just, the Warriors could say, okay, we'll do that deal. They still have to find a way to get Malik Monk or DeMar DeRozan out the paint, which is essentially kind of what Matt George was saying. Matt George said Devin Carter or Malik Monk. That's 2 things for 2. That's the Westbrook thing. This is what I'm talking about. There's a lot of moving parts here, man.
Yeah, I mean, the Kings would be trading essentially a rotation player, a first-round draft pick last year, a future first-round draft pick, and a second-rounder. So if we just start with that, then the Warriors have to call Miami and say, hey, do you want Malik Monk? Let's just say Miami says yes, right? Because Miami might say no. But in this scenario, he's saying Miami says, yes, we will take Malik Monk. What do we have to give up? They say, we'll get rid of Terry Rozier. Okay, well, the Warriors say, okay, we got to find someone else to take Terry Rozier now. So they go to Utah, and Utah says, fine, we'll take Terry Rozier's terrible contract if you give us... Yeah, that too. If you give us a first-round pick. And the Heat say, no, but we'll do a pick swap. And that all of that has to happen.
Right. And this is the most, according to Brett, the most likely.
Which is, honestly, I thought was going to be more complicated. I don't think Miami would do a pick swap to dump that Terry Rozier contract, but I guess Miami might be betting on in 3 years they'll still be better than the Jazz.
Right.
Which, hey, good luck, Pat Riley. And general manager who I can't name, which, by the way, how weird is that? They've had the same general manager for 20 years and no one knows who it is.
It's the best job in the NBA.
Is being the Heat general manager. He's won 3 championships and just no one knows his name.
Silent manager.
Yeah, that guy. But anyways, I think while the Heat aspect of it is a little convoluted, I do think Brett made it about as simple as you can while acknowledging you have to move either Malik Monk or DeMar DeRozan because Miami just has so many expiring contracts and wants to compete right now. Maybe Miami is the team that makes the most sense.
Yeah, and obviously they added Norman Powell, but there's no denying that Malik Monk is better than Terry Rozier. So you'd be adding him. Are they interested in the 3 years of Malik Monk? Maybe they feel as if, hey, guys like Malik Monk, and I keep saying it, that's going to turn into Malik might be on 3 different teams in 3 different years because everybody's cool paying him $20 million for 1 year. Everybody is cool with that. So he's just going to keep bouncing around. I hope he doesn't because people don't like that. Players don't like that. But that just seems where this could be going.
I guess if Miami turns this Terry Rozier situation into Malik Monk and KJ Martin,
that's pretty good.
Pretty good, but they'd have to give up a pick swap to make it happen, which...
It's not a pick. It's a pick swap.
Again, I think Brett makes it as layman's terms simple as you can to kind of explain it. And, KJ Martin, whatever, is a nice piece, but that would leave Miami with Tyler Hero, Malik Monk, Norman Powell, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware. I'm forgetting someone, but it's a fine team.
But back to the Kings part of it. So essentially, you would be giving up a top 8 protected first round pick, Malik Monk, Devin Carter, and a second round pick for Jonathan Kuminga. How does that make you feel? Versus, and that's the part of it. That's why Keon Ellis, now it seems absurd because to do business with the Warriors, because you can't give up Keon Ellis a first round pick and Malik Monk. Maybe you would give up Keon Ellis a first round pick and DeMar DeRozan, but you can't give up Keon Ellis, Malik Monk, and a first round pick. You cannot do that.
Well, unless that first round pick has heavier protections, right? Because
I still don't think you can do it.
You would say giving up essentially 2 rotation players for 1 rotation player in Kaminga.
Yeah, I without the kind of confusing addition of having to move on from Malik Monk or DeMar DeRozan, if I'm the Kings and I like Jonathan Kuminga that much, I wouldn't let Keon Ellis stop it. But now you're to the point, unless Malik's contract is really viewed that poorly, which I don't think it is, it's just hard for me to say you lost Keon. It just can't be Keon. It can't. Not to lose Monk and a first rounder.
It can't be Keon and Monk.
It cannot be Keon and Monk. It might be Keon and DeMar DeRozan and a heavily protected first. Because, yes, I think both things. I think if it's Keon, that first round pick is even more protected. Okay. And it would have to be DeMar DeRozan in order to make that money work. I can't give up Malik Monk and Keon. I cannot do. Not for Jonathan Kuminga. Can't do it. Can't do it. Won't do it. On the other side, more from Brett Siegel.